That's perfect. Right, we're going to start the recording now. Andrew, it's about what I want you to explain to whoever's on this call. We're 32 people, nearly as much as the general GL calls get, is how easy it is to be nice. Although it is not prescribed in any of the scriptures, in any religion, it is not a difficult thing to do. There you go. Have fun. You've got 7 minutes.
Wonderful. Thank you. Do you see how easy it is to be nice? Stefan just gave you an example. Here you go. Carry on. So I think it's important to understand that where does being nice come from? And there's some amazing stuff in scripture that talks about these things called the fruit of the Spirit. But if you look at the scriptures that talk about the fruit of the Spirit, and you read 1 Corinthians 13, where it talks about love, they are exactly the same thing. And what I love about the scripture in 1 Corinthians 13, where Paul talks to us about what love is, he actually describes to us the character of God. And if you go and read in Galatians, where it talks about the fruits of the Spirit, and you compare it to what it says in 1 Corinthians 13, you will see some very, very clear representation of exactly the same characteristics. Now, to be nice to somebody is easy, but it has to come from the right place. It needs to come from the right heart, from the right foundation, from the right set of values. And it needs to be a choice. It needs to be a decision. You have to choose every morning when you wake up what attitude you're going to face the day with. You got to choose what actions you're going to take, and you got to carve those out in the day. And the most important thing is to stick to that decision, to follow through on that action. So when you are in the process of journeying and being nice to somebody, you need to make sure that you are, there's a lot of distraction here, sorry. You got to have the right mindset to do it. And like Stefan said, it's not difficult to do, it's easy to do because it's a choice. Everything we do in life comes down to choice. And what we do with that choice and how we act upon that choice is really entirely up to us. The person that you're choosing to be nice to doesn't govern the way that you act towards him. You do. You are the person who's in control of your circumstance, in control of your actions and your attitude. Nobody else determines the way that you act or react to something. Only you do. You are the one that's in control of that. So how easy is it to be nice? Well, you determine. It comes straight out of your heart, not out of your head. And it grows in you, not something that you can just sort of study. It's like you plant that seed, and that seed grows within you. I go back to those fruits. It takes time for those fruits to grow. It takes time for them to be nurtured. It takes effort, but the effort comes from you. You determine the quality of that fruit. So you can wake up every morning, you can make that decision. I'm going to apply myself in this way during the course of the day, and you water that seed that is in your heart, that I am going to grow into these fruits. Now, it's never an easy thing. If you plant an apple seed today, you're not going to get apples tomorrow. If you plant lemons, you're not going to get lemons tomorrow, right? You have to understand that those seeds that you plant in your heart, in your life, are going to take time to be nurtured and need to be nurtured to grow. Everything has to go through its seasons. And it might not be easy to be nice off the bat. It can be a challenge. But like I said, the more we water these things, the more we nurture these things, the more we will grow into that attitude. And we've been doing this gratitude jar thing over the last couple of weeks. And that's also developing the right attitude and the right mentality. Because the more we plant of that in our hearts and in our lives, the more effect it takes in the way that we act or react to the people around us. But like I said, it's not the person that you are acting or reacting to that determines whether you're nice or not. It's you. It's how you choose to respond to it. And we need to just continue to make sure that we nurture and grow those fruits in our hearts. So fruits of kindness, fruits of compassion, fruits of forgiveness, fruits of love, of joy, of patience, of selflessness. And the more we nurture and grow those in our lives, the easier it becomes to be nice, because we are bearing good fruit. But if we plant the wrong actions and the wrong attitude and the wrong mentality, then what is that fruit going to be? You know? And if you think of fruits on the tree in nature, the first fruits that are often harvested are never the best fruits, especially if it becomes like the first, harvest. Often those fruits are bitter because they haven't endured all the seasons that they need to. It's the first time the tree is bearing that fruit. So it's a challenge. It will be difficult. But in time, the second harvest, the third harvest, think of the grapes in the vineyard and these guys that grow these grapes to make these different wines. I mean, those things have been grown over years and years and years to get that perfect grape, to get that right flavor for what they are trying to do. So yes, it's easy to be nice with the right fruits, but if we plant the wrong fruits and we don't nurture and grow them, then we are always going to produce that bitterness. So think of those incredible characteristics, those incredible fruits: love, peace, patience, kindness, selflessness, self-control. Those are incredible things, and plant them in the right heart, and they can go a very, very long way, and you will be nice. You will be challenged. No one said we won't be. You're going to be challenged in every day, in every circumstance, and you're going to find people will always come up against you. And what I've learned in life is the more you pray for these good fruits, the more the challenges come to test those fruits. So you pray for patience. You're not going to get a bag of patience thrown at you out of the sky. You're going to get circumstances and situations that are going to test your patience and cause that fruit to grow. When you plant those seeds in the ground, no matter what they are, as I said, you're not going to get the fruit the next day. That seed needs to germinate. It needs to take root. It needs to grow below the surface before it grows above the surface. When it grows above the surface, then you've got a responsibility to nurture that and care for it and prune it and shape it and make it what it needs to be until it bears the fruit. And then when it bears the fruit, you've got a responsibility to harvest that and to look after that fruit to make sure that you are giving what you intended to produce. So it's entirely up to us. The actions and the attitude of our minds and our hearts will determine how good or bad it is, or how easy it is to be nice to somebody. So plant the right fruits. And remember, in planting, don't be impatient. Give yourself some leeway, give yourself some grace, give yourself some space, because it's going to take time, it's going to take effort, but in the end, it is worth it. So plant with the intention to grow a harvest of good fruit. An attitude of gratitude goes a very long way. And the more we do with an action of love, or an attitude of love, the more we can and will achieve.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thanks, Andrew.
Baie dankie.
I'm gonna give you guys a chance to ask Andrew a few questions just now. If you look at a spirit of gratitude, if you leave your house in the morning and you go to a mall or a shopping center, what does it take you to greet a stranger? And that is the first thing that you need to do every day. Make one person feel better about himself. And if you greet that first person and put a smile on his face, then your job is done. But then you're not finished. Because you live in a spirit of gratitude, gratitude, you will flow through the day, and everybody you come in contact with. I don't go out much. I sit in front of my computer for many, many hours every day. But every person I speak to, I try to finish the conversation on a light note. Somebody made a huge bugger up today, and we sorted it out in a question of 25 minutes. I called him 7 times in that 25 minutes. And the last call was, thank you, everything is sorted now. Say thank you to somebody if they do something for you. The person filling your fuel, the cashier doing the cash register. A simple thank you is enough to be nice. Right, there's a few hands up. Who's first? Paula. Paula, unmute yourself.
Good day, everyone. So, question to Andrew. What is your response to me saying that I sometimes believe that being nice is a part of character, and there's some parts to your character that, I don't know, I guess it could be changed, but if it's part of your character, isn't that a struggle to try and change it? I don't know if that question makes sense. That being nice is a part of your character. So, I don't know. Does that thought flow of mine even make sense?
Yeah, absolutely makes sense. Of course, it's part of our character. It's something we have to grow into. Like Stefan said, it's something you have to choose to do. So even just by saying thank you to somebody is a choice that you have to make. You can choose to ignore the person or just be grumpy and not acknowledge them as a person. That can come from your character, but you can change that character by making a conscious decision that instead of cultivating a negative character, I'm going to cultivate a positive character. I have to change my thought patterns. I have to change my processing. I have to change my actions and attitude towards myself to grow into a character of love rather than into the character of negativity or scarcity or of ungratefulness, So it really is, it comes down to personal choice, but we cultivate the character of who we are. We're not born into a character. Our character is shaped over the years and the decades that we walk through the journey of this life. And it's often shaped by the influences that we have around us, by people. If people don't treat you with gratitude, you might be inclined to not treat them with gratitude. So we get influenced by that, but we have to make a decision and a choice. And it really comes down to, a personal commitment to that. I'm going to work towards this thing. And we are influenced in our lives by the people around us. But at the end of the day, the choices that we make who we are. And I'll give a personal example from my own life. Maybe it'll add some sort of clarity to this because, it speaks of character. But my parents got divorced when I was 5 years old. My biological father was an alcoholic. And the first time he ever hit my mom was the last time he ever hit my mom. But I was standing between them when that happened. And I looked at my mom and I said, I never, ever want to be like this man at 5 years old. And I knew what made him the way that he was. It was the drink. And at 5 years old, I made that decision. And at age 43, I have never had an alcoholic beverage in my life because I don't ever want to be like that character. And it was the character of influence. And yet my brother, who's 2.5 years older than me, struggled with addiction and he struggled with alcoholism for many, many years. He's clean now and he's left all that behind him. But it was his actions and his attitude towards the character of my father that led him to be like that. We both come from the same parents, both lived in the same circumstance and situation, but both made different choices and decisions. So it's the choices that we make that shape that character and can lead us and grow us towards a character of gratitude and a character of love, essentially, that we can walk in the fullness of that character. I hope that helps.
Awesome. Thank you.
That's a good sample of how you shape. Basically, if you, because of circumstances, grew up and developed a certain character, cut out a tree, plant another one. It's never too late to plant another tree. It's going to take you a few years to see the harvest. And the first harvest may not be good, but it's never too late to cut out a tree and plant a new one. Our lives are long. A tree can last many, many years. It bears bad fruit, cut it out, plant a new one. Liana, your hand is up. Anything from your side? I just want to show the people my gratitude jar. It's nearly full. I must make another one.
You need a bigger jar.
Your baby is, Liana.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks, Stefan. Thank you, Andrew, for your beautiful words, as always. 3 things. I am guilty. I didn't do the gratitude jar. I don't want to call it a challenge because I think it's a blessing, but it's something that I'm definitely going to start tomorrow, because I think it just reminds us of everything that we should be thankful for and everything great in our life. Then maybe like Andrew shared a bit of a personal experience. I chatted to Festina, I don't know if it was this week or last week because I speak to her most days. And we were working on something and we were tired and it was late and it's load shedding. And I said to her at one point, I said to her, Festina, you put in all this hours and all this time, and I don't even think you've got one submarine profile that's already on a perpetual board. So you haven't even moved over to your second bronze board. And she like works hours and hours and hours and helping us. And her response to me, she said to me, Liana, you don't know what I've gained being part of this community. And she had the opportunity there to say to me, I can really do with a few dollars right about now, and it's tough. And but that wasn't her answer to me, her response to me. And it was just at that moment, again, I realized that in every situation, you can see the good or the bad or the positive or the negative. And that positivity that she just brought to that whole discussion, I just realized there's much more that we receive out of different things in life that we do. Being gift of legacy, speaking to the cashier, chatting to somebody. There's something else that you get out of all of these actions that's not necessarily measured in a monetary value. So sorry, Festina, I know it was a personal discussion. I just asked us here. And then for Andrew, please tell everyone the avo tree story because you saved me in a day that I was very, very low. And I think I hope you still remember your own avo tree story.
Yes, I remember it. Yeah, well, like everything in life and in nature, and this is what I love about scripture and the way that Jesus used to teach. He spoke so much about farming stuff. It was incredible, but he was a carpenter's son. But he used nature very often to explain things. But if you were to plant, let's use a lemon tree, for example. If you were to plant lemon seeds and grow a lemon tree, that lemon tree would start bearing fruit within its first year in a pot. We've in fact got one standing outside next to our swimming pool. This lemon tree is not even a meter tall. It's got about 7 or 8 lemons on it, and they're lemons. That's cool, right? So it's bearing fruit. And when you plant the lemon tree, you would expect that that's what would happen. But when you plant an avo seed, that avo tree has to grow, and an avo tree will generally only start to bear fruit in its 7th year. Not necessarily always, it might take a little bit longer, but 7 years it takes before an avo tree will actually bear fruit. And the first fruit of that avo tree is never really nice, okay? It's often very watery or pulpy, but as the tree matures and grows, so it becomes greater. Now, you can have an orchard of lemons, and you can sell as many of them as you can, but most people I know that have lemon trees are struggling to give the lemons away. So they're of actually little value, little to no value, all right? Unless you've got a lemonade plant or you live in America and the kids love making lemonade on the street corner. But avos have great value. Do yourself a favor, go to the local shopping center and get the price of one avo at the moment. Because if they're not quite in season, you could be paying anything from 25 Rand to 35 Rand for an avo. But when that avo tree starts to produce and it's gone through its first season of harvest and those avos come in every single season, you will be raking in more money than the guy that has his lemon tree orchard, because you had the patience, you sat it out, you waited, you were wise, you planted something of greater value. And because it's of greater value, it takes more time and it takes some nurturing. So in something like Gift of Legacy as well, don't be hasty. Realize that you're planting something of value. Yes, maybe it's only $12.50 to you, but that $12.50 could be a life-changing thing to someone else. And nurture it. Don't become impatient with it. Once you've planted that thing, all you can do is actually pray for it and have faith that it's going to reach its full point of fruition and bear a harvest. There's nothing else that you can really do to change the outcome of what that fruit will be. And once you plant the seed as well, you can't change what the fruit's going to be. You plant an apple seed, you cannot get avos, right? You're going to get apples on that tree. So remember what it is that you started out with. What did you plant? Was it a seed of love? Was it a seed of faith? Was it a seed of greed? Because that will determine what the harvest will be at the end of the day. So I want to plant things of value. I want to plant seeds that are going to bring a greater return, bring about a greater change, and be of greater value in our community, in our lives, in our circumstances. So I'm prepared to sit it out and wait. If it takes 7 years, I want that harvest of avos so that it can make a better difference. Is that all right, Liana?
Thank you, Andrew.
Thanks, Andrew.
It is important that you select the right seeds. We've got about 7 minutes left. If anybody else wants to ask Andrew a question or two. Andrew's a very wise man.
One quick question.
Paula, you're up.
I know, just to spell that fruit you just mentioned. I'm not familiar with it. Sorry.
I'll type it out for you. I hope it's the right spelling.
Avocado pear.
Oh, the other typed already. She's faster than me. Avocado. It's a green thing with yellow and green insides. Very healthy fruit, full of vitamin C and other vitamins as well.
Got it. Thank you.
You put it on toast with a little bit of pepper and salt, and it's one of the best breakfasts you can have.
It's nice on pizza too.
Yeah, you can have it on pizza as well and in salads. Okay, any other questions, people? We've got about 6 minutes left and I must prepare for the 8 o'clock call. Jump on the 8 o'clock call if you can. I've got some very interesting things to share with you guys, and I'll have to find my notebook. I've got a lot of things to share. The road forward looks very, very rosy, very prosperous, full of flowers and fruits. As Andrew said, we must just be extremely patient. Yes, Liana?
Sorry, while we still got time and there's no questions, I read something, I think it was yesterday or the day before, and it was about a person that wrote this testimony, and they were in a shopping mall, and there was a guy in front of them at the till point having a whole trolley full of groceries, and this person had one item. And he judged this guy in front of him because of how he looked, his appearance. Apparently, had like a baseball bat and a little bit of untidy hair. And yeah, so the guy was thinking by himself, oh, look at this character. And then the guy turned around and said, you've only got one item, please go in front of me. So he's like, oh, okay, nice guy. And then when he got to the till point, he actually couldn't find the cash that he had to pay for his item. And he was like looking for it. And then the guy said to the cashier, don't worry, just ring it up with my items. And the guy left the store, obviously thanking the guy. And he, in the testimony, he said when he drove home that day, he actually cried because he was taught a lesson that he was the person that was judging without knowing. And this person that don't know him from anywhere showed this kindness. And I think that was exactly what Andrew said today. If you practice these fruits and bear these fruits, this is how you can change someone's life. I mean, I don't say you have to pay for people's groceries at the store, but just the act of kindness of letting the person in front of you. And this guy said he felt so embarrassed that he's so thankful that this guy actually couldn't read his mind. So sometimes, we judge a book by its cover, and it turns out to be the most amazing person.
Now, we tend to judge too easily. Don't judge a book on its cover. Open up and start reading. There's a question, Andrew. I'd like to know if you could please share how to get motivated to deal with the many no's we receive. A very interesting thing that Chris said to me today. On last night's Zoom call, or it's not a Zoom call anymore for GL. He challenged people to send out the link tree to 2 or 3 people every day. If somebody then says no, it's not a no to you. It's a no against the information that was shared. Don't ever take a no personally. I signed up a person last week, Friday, who said no on 2 occasions. And eventually one of his friends showed him his profile, and now he joined. It's never a no against you. The no is against the information that you share. But Andrew, I hope you can get on next Thursday again. I think there's a lot more that you can say. I'm going to stop the recording now. We've got 2 minutes left. Thank you for your input tonight. It was very, very clear and very direct. And that's what we need. People need to understand life is not difficult. Life is not an obstacle course. Where's the obstacles coming from? We place them there ourselves because we're stupid. We can have a gentle, smooth, winding road without too many sharp curves. You build your own road. Make it a nice, gentle, curving road through the countryside. You are the builder of your own road. That's my wise words for this call. Okay, everybody, unmute yourself, shout bye, and then I'll see you at 8 o'clock.
Bye, everyone. Thank you,
Bye,
Andrew.
guys. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Stefan.
Bye. Good night.
Thanks, Stefan.
Thanks, Andrew.